Hello community, and welcome back. So today we'll be looking at a relatively well-known error in the Mongoose/MongoDB setup, which is the URI parameter to openUri must be a string or undefined. You can read it down here in my terminal. And the suggestion which is made is make sure the first parameter to mongoose.connect or mongoose.createConnection is a string. Because typically the mistake that is being made is to forget in our .env file to pass an actual string to the global variable URI. This is not our case. Another error which you typically see is to forget to import .env or even more commonly to forget to call the .config method on the .env instance. We have done both, so there's something else which isn't working. Now, a lot of the times the fix is actually to import the .env file correctly, because maybe the programmer has placed the .env file in a relative path which is not accessed by the server correctly. So oftentimes in Stack Overflow you will find suggestions to apply parameters to .config method with path, and then here you would have a relative path import. So in our case you would have something like this, .env. But this is not our issue either, because our .env file is in the same directory, and we don't have weird stuff like config.env, which sometimes causes errors. So the mistake must be somewhere else. Now, a suggestion which you often find, and which is very helpful, is to console log .config and see what it returns. More generally, I've actually console logged both the port and DB value up here, which are both undefined, as you can see, so the data is not being retrieved correctly from our .env file. Let's see what happens now. So here we can see that the port value remains undefined, but an object with our global variables, port and URI, is being passed correctly. So the data is configured correctly, the global variables are being parsed. So there's an issue in how we're accessing these values. Let's remove this from our console log, and what we're going to do here is say config dot parsed. We can see in here that parsed is a property of .config, so we are going to apply that, and let's save. Let's see what happens. We are still getting the error. Now, this is a bit tricky, but if you have read the .env documentation, you will know that it actually suggests to import and configure .env as soon as possible in your server code. So what we're going to do here is we are going to cut this out and paste it right under our Express server and run again. And it's running. The port 3001 is being passed correctly, and this is in fact the string, the connection string to our MongoDB cluster. Alright, I hope this video has been helpful and you can debug more efficiently now. and I'll see you next time.